And we are live for a new episode of the Electrek Podcast. I am Fred Lambert, your host, and as usual, I'm joined by Seth Wincham. How are you doing today, Seth?
I'm good.
Put that light on real quick so you guys can see my face. All right, we have plenty to talk about this week. No sponsor this week. We're a little lap on sponsor, so if you guys want to sponsor the show, you know you can reach out to us. At Fred at Electrek.co or Seth at Electrek.co. We'll set you up. We're going to talk about Tesla launching, preparing to launch two new variants of the Model Y and Model 3, mainly in China. For now, the information is coming from China, but the expectation is that those will eventually come to North America. We'll see about that. A new discount in the US from Tesla. The head of North America leaving. We talk about the Robotaxi expansion and kind of the Robotaxi expansion wars in Austin, Texas, right now between Waymo and Tesla. There's a little back and forth, a little friendly competition going. Then Uber is entering the race a bit away with big news from Lucid in partnership with Lucid and the Gravity. We have the unveiling of the Electrek CLA Shooting Brake, the Subaru Uncharted, which Carl is in the chat already talking about it right now. And we had Jamie check out Faraday Future FX Super One.
That thing was wild.
Yeah, blast from the past, right? Faraday Future is still alive, sort of. And kicking a little bit, but we'll see how long that lasts. Let's start out with the Model YL. So Tesla officially announced it. They went on Waymo and shared these two pictures here. So nothing too crazy here. So you see a Model Y. It looks a little bit longer. We actually can confirm that because we have some data on it. And we have the badge here. So that's from a post on Tesla's official Weibo. They did it at the same time that the Ministry of Industry Information Technology in China, the MIIT, released the original filing for regulatory approval of the new version. So I assume Tesla knew that the vehicle is going to get out, and they want to get ahead and announce it. But there's no pricing yet. There's no data directly from Tesla. All we have is just from the regulatory filing. We knew about this car a few weeks ago. We talked from good friend Hacker Green. He got some details from the app saying that a 6-seater version of the Model Y was coming. So this is it here. So if you look at the comparison chart that I put together here, you can see that the vehicle is a little bit longer, 180 millimeter longer. It's about 7 inches. And 24 millimeter taller, about an inch taller than the regular Model Y. It also again, the data from from this is a little bit limited to the dimensions, to the battery origins, and curb weight, and that's about it. So it's the wheelbase is significantly bigger to 150 millimeters, so that's 6 inches longer on the wheelbase. So supposedly to enable a little bit more space for the third row, because it's going to be a 2-2-2 seat configurations. We learned that it's also going to use NMC battery cells from LG, from Nanjing. So it's from LG in China, and it's it's a dual motor, 140 kilowatt in the front, 198 in the back. So this is like we've been expecting Tesla to launch cheaper vehicles, especially in China this year. So stripped down version of the Model Y. Those are probably being still on the back burner for now, as Tesla is now going up market instead with this, because obviously NMC cells, bigger form factor, 3 rows, all of these things are going to be a little bit more expensive. And dual motors, like I said before, the dual motor version is actually not very popular in China for Tesla. 90% or something of the Tesla cells between Model 3 and Model Y come from the rear-wheel drive version. So these are not really popular, but the 3-row 6-seater options in China are getting quite popular. Last week we talked about the Envo L90, which is a bigger SUV, that third row option, and obviously it looks like Tesla is trying to compete on that. There's a bunch of new vehicles in that segment that launch in China too, so it looks like China wants to have an entry there, and might not be a bad strategy for Tesla to go up market instead of down market in China, because the down market is so crowded right now that, and Tesla is just not, doesn't have a great value proposition lower market, because they already have a very Spartan interior, very minimalist. It's not seen as super luxurious. So when you try to remove things in an already minimalist interior, you don't create a ton of the value proposition starts to degrade pretty fast, basically. But is that something that you think would have some success in North America, Seth?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it does kind of make you wonder what's going to happen to the Model X if you've got a 6-seat. I mean, you don't wonder. It's pretty much,
it's already dead.
It's dead, right? So yeah, say goodbye to the Falcon wings and all that. Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Like, Americans love bigger SUVs. I would be shocked if this didn't come to the U.S. as fast as they can possibly get it here, especially with the third, the bigger third row would be the big deal. And
well, we still haven't seen the third row, though, to be fair. So we see the bigger dimension. So you gain 7 inches total, 6 inches at the wheelbase. But then you have to look at the Model X, like you said, and the Model X has a third seat option, has a 6-seater option. And out of spec just got their hands on the new one, like the updated one that supposedly gives you an inch more at the back. And they did a little demonstration of it on X, and it's horrific. Like, there's no space whatsoever. Even if you try to optimize the space for the back with like a more reasonable second row position, it's still like barely suitable for children. So I'm really curious to see if they found some efficiency with that YL, because if it's anything close to the Model X third row that they have right now, it doesn't look good.
Well, I do think, I mean, regardless, they're able to make this at a much lower price point than the Model X, I would assume. So, and the U.S. and North American market really likes big SUVs. So the bigger, the better. I imagine that they'll try to get this thing to the U.S. as soon as possible.
Yeah, the $50,000 range, like this could have some success for sure.
Yep.
And then you have the Model 3 Plus. So that's this one was not officially announced by Tesla through Weibo or anything like that. This one was purely through the China Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, MIT. So we have the same level of information probably coming soon to China, and same dimension as the Model 3. The current Model 3. So it's purely powertrain configuration that's different. It's also a rear-wheel drive, if I'm not mistaken. It's also a rear-wheel drive, but it features a little bit of a bigger rear-wheel drive motor, 225 kilowatt rear-wheel drive motor. And instead of having LFP cells like the regular rear-wheel drive Model 3, it has tiny lithium-ion battery cells from LG, and this one I think is from LG Korea rather than LG China. So it's bigger, more performing cells, and based on that and based on the name Model 3 Plus, the assumption here is that this is going to have a much longer range, because the weight is also the same as the rear-wheel drive. So you have the same weight as the current rear-wheel drive that has an FP cell, but with more energy dense cell, but at the same weight. That would generally mean, okay, they put more capacity in them there, and there's also a little bit bigger motor, but that doesn't have that much of an impact here. So there's no range in the MIT filing, but we know that the current CLTC range for the Model 3 variants in China is 634 kilometers for the rear-wheel drive standard range. Then you have the long range all-wheel drive at 753, and then 623 kilometers for the performance version. So I would assume that this will get closer to 800 kilometers of range, 500 miles of range or so on the CLTC. Could get over 400 miles on the EPA if it does come to the US, and it would make it the longest range Model 3 by far. So that's good news, and there's no question why Tesla is doing that. But again, it's interesting because instead of like the stripped down, cheaper vehicle that Tesla was supposed to bring to China to maintain and or possibly increase volume in the country because it is declining. Tesla is doing up market again here, so that's an interesting approach. But they're doing up market, but they're doing it differently with the plus being a rear wheel drive. So this I would assume would still be cheaper than the long range all wheel drive that Tesla offers. So I think this is in response to Xiaomi specifically, because if you look at the Xiaomi SU7, which is competing with the Model 3 in China, it's the base version at 830 kilometers of range, 516 miles of range. So that's a big seller for them because that's a rear-wheel drive version, and then you go to all-wheel drive with the Pro and the Max version, which have shorter range because of the higher performance. But the base version is cheaper than the Model 3 and has a much longer range than 634 kilometers of range here. So obviously Tesla is trying to remedy that with the Model 3 Plus, but we'll have to see exactly where they can come in the price range, because like I said, the current rear-wheel drive is still more expensive than the SU7, and it is 200 kilometers of range. That is the difference here. All right, now going back to the US, even though we do think that eventually these cars, we don't see any reason why they shouldn't make it to the US too. But the current lineup in the US is being heavily discounted, and some incentive have been added for Tesla. They even created a whole page for it now to list all those incentive. And a lot of automakers are doing that right now in the US, obviously, because everyone wants to take advantage of that tax credit going away and all that demand being pulled forward into Q3. It's making things a lot more competitive because every automaker knows that in Q4 and going forward after that, it's going to be a lot tougher to sell EVs for a while in the US, just from a perspective issue. Like, I'm not going to buy a car now because if I bought it like 3 months ago, I would have access to that $7,500 tax credit. So until that goes away, it's going to be a lot tougher in the US. So in the meantime, it makes it super competitive. And Tesla listed all these incentives to buy right now. So obviously the $7,500, they call it a lease incentive on the vehicles, because they know that that's going to be the easiest way to get people to take advantage of that and to get delivery of a vehicle this quarter is through the lease incentive, because more people qualify for it than if you buy the vehicle outright. Then there's still $1,000 off for American heroes, they call it. So military, first responder, teachers, students. It covers a lot of people. And so that's $1,000 off on all the vehicles for Tesla. Then there's a free month of FSD supervised trial for all vehicles. And then there's free full self-driving transfer is back set for the 8 times after.
Is it really 8 times, or are you just saying 8?
I'm just saying 8 is probably closer to like 6, I would assume.
Yeah, it's just weird that they keep it coming back and forth. Like at this point,
just leave it open.
Yeah.
And then premium connectivity is a 30-day free trial for Model 3, Model Y, a year for Model S, X, and Cybertruck. For the Model Y, you also get 1 free upgrade. So if you're ordering the car, you can choose the upgrade in there. So it can be like a set of the bigger wheels, or it can be something like that. Different color for free, so you save like $2,000. If it's you pick from the new inventory, the price is already discounted on that. So there's already one of the price reflects 1 free upgrade. And then there's the tax credit. So the lease now until the end of the quarter starts at basically $250 a month for the Model Y on the 24-month, and $400 for 36 months. That's with $3,000 down. The APR financing is at 3.49%. Up to 60 months. So that's the thing that has changed here. So Tesla has put a lot of incentive, but they are less so on the APR financing front. And I would assume that has to do with the new big beautiful bill that now lets you deduct on your taxes the interest on car payments. The interest that in the interest on car payments. Up to $10,000, and there are some limitations. You should look into it before going forward, because there's some limitation on that front. But Tesla's main discounts over the last year or two has been subsidizing the interest rates on their loans, on their financing, on their cars, and they're still doing it at 3.5% because it's closer to 6% the rate right now. So they're still discounting it, but they're discounting it a little less because they know that most people are going to be able to take advantage of that and then reduce the actual cost of the financing of the car. Not for Model 3 if you buy FSD. So the demand for the Model Y has been a lot stronger than Model 3 right now. Tesla is, if you buy FSD, you get the 0%, and if you don't buy FSD, you get 2.49%. So you still get a discounted rate either way. Also, one free upgrade, also the tax credit, and the lease starts at just $300 a month for 24 months and $350 for 36 months. Again, with $3,000 down. You get one free upgrade if you buy FSD for the new Model X. You get 1 year of premium connectivity. We already said that. One free upgrade with FSD for Model S also. And then the Cybertruck gets the most, unsurprisingly, because it's hard as hell to sell. So they get still 0% APR on the Cybertruck. So Tesla, you can see here just like the deductible, it doesn't have that big of an impact because Tesla still has to do 0% on the Cybertruck. And then you get free 20-inch Cyberwheel upgrade. So that's a $3,500 in value. So it's well, that's just on lease orders. Oh, really? That's weird. Why would you do that just on lease orders? It's better for people to outright buy them, right?
So do you think this is going to move the needle?
I mean, the demand being pulled forward into Q3 is going to move the
That's
needle.
gonna be the big one.
So I think these are more to pull a trigger on your order, like the little incentive, because a lot of other automakers are doing the same too. They have like similar. A lot of people are trying to get people to go to their brands because they know that the inventory is going to pile up after that. So I think Tesla's going to have a great quarter in the US. I think that's obvious at this point. All right, but then things are going to get rough pretty fast, and things have been rough too. And now we learned that Troy Jones, who has been leading sales in North America for Tesla for a while, he's been one of the biggest face for Tesla retail in North America. He has left, according to the Wall Street Journal, after 15 years at Tesla, and the last 5 or so, he's been regarded as the lead retail guy for Tesla in North America. But now that's him, and that's Omed Ashfar, Elon's right-hand man that was promoted as head of operation for North America and Europe. Both of them leaving in just a month or two. So that's clearly Tesla cleaning house, doing a little refresh of the management level, and because they blame all the management for the declining demand, other than the actual manager that is affecting demand more than anybody else, and that's Elon Musk, obviously. So a lot of heads are rolling at Tesla right now, and this is starting. Like I said it multiple times. I know people call me a Tesla hater when I said that, but it's a worry that Tesla is going to do bad because of it. So I'm not hating on Tesla. I'm just pulling out the pointing the red flag here that the talent exodus at Tesla has been significant. So we just mentioned Omed Ashfar in the last few months. We just mentioned now Troy Jones. There's also Jenna Ferreira, the head of HR for North America, that has left last month. And then you have one of the top engineering executive for all the energy product that left earlier this year, the head of Optimus program a few weeks ago, the top crash safety architect for Tesla earlier this year, 2 of its top designers earlier this year, the head of software just a month or 2 ago. It's a lot of top talent, and a lot of these people that I just mentioned have been at Tesla for 10 plus years, and now they're leaving. It's telling. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Robotaxi race that's going on. So there was the pin-shape Robotaxi expansion that happened this weekend. So the smaller part here, which you could call the balls or the scrotum, was Tesla's original map in Austin for the original launch of the Robotaxi last month. And we already discussed in details of how the launch is all about optics. It's clearly a move where Tesla and Elon specifically has been wrong about self-driving for years, and now they really needed a win. And for about a year, they've been talking about launching this in the first half of 2025 in Austin, or by June in Austin. So they needed to do it, but we were expecting that they would do it with a lot of limitation, mainly for show. And sure enough, that's what happened with a supervisor in each car with a finger on the kill switch to be able to stop the car at any time. Also limited when there's weather, limited to 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. And in a very limited geofence area. Now, the hope that the shareholders have is that this is all just for the beginning, and then Tesla's going to remove the supervisor pretty fast, and then going to expand the service area really fast and expand the numbers of cars that are providing the robotaxi service. So they got their win very quickly. When within a few weeks, less than a month of launching the program, they expanded the service area. And this is literally here the new map of the service area, which is very much phallic shaped. And this is not a joke. Like this, well, I mean, it is a joke, but it's a real thing. So it's one of those Tesla influencer on X, I forget which one, tweeted that before Tesla doing it, like, oh, it'd be funny if Tesla did that. And of course, that just like hit Elon's juvenile sense of humor, like right on the spot. So he saw that and he told the team, let's do it like that. Because let's be clear, folks, in this map, there's no practical reason to expand that way. Like, yes, it covers like a lot of like the most populated, the most commercial part of Austin, sure, but on these sides here, the sides of the shaft to to reference the map.
I mean, I guess it's a publicity stunt in that regard.
Yeah,
here we are talking about it.
I mean, yeah, we talked about it, but at the same time, like they got like. I because of what happened next, what the next article, I think it backfired on them because they sort of started a dick measuring contest that they are now losing because, yeah, there's no practical reason to launch a map like that. Like, yeah, I mean, it's funny and everything, but it doesn't make sense to not serve on this side of the shaft and the other side of the shaft. You should be able to serve the service there because unless you need to go from the left ball to the tip, like you're screwed if you need to be dropped off like right here or right here. It makes no sense. So they just did it like you said for publicly stunt. And you know, what we said about it, like in my headline, I said it shows just how unserious this business is for Tesla. Like they don't take it seriously. But then the Tesla account wrote back to us like, "Oh, we are proudly unserious." It's like, yeah, I mean, you're deploying self-driving machinery that travels at high speed, weighs 5,000 pounds, very dangerous stuff. It should be kind of serious. Like I get like no one is like upset about the joke here or anything like that. Like it's not that. It's just like there should be some seriousness. There should be some practicality in the expansion. But the funniest part here is like, all right, the only real win for the Tesla shareholders and the fans out there were like, oh, well, we are now have a bigger service area than Waymo in Austin. And then days later, Waymo clapped back with their own expansion. So basically surpassing the little dick measuring contest that Tesla started. And they more than doubled their size of their service area. So I did a little map here so you can see the difference. So you have the Tesla map here, and then at scale, the Waymo map. So now they cover over 90 square miles around Austin. So it's a much bigger service area. The darker blue one was the one prior to the expansion. And Waymo was not shy about taking a few shots at Tesla. In their release here, they said, we are proud to offer the only fully autonomous 24/7 experience for anyone in Austin. So basically disregarding Tesla as not being fully autonomous, which is true because they have a supervisor inside the car. It's not officially level 4. And it's also not 24/7 because they don't. That's pretty nuts that they don't run between midnight and 6 when this is the time that people actually like want to use Ubers when they get off of bars and things like that. Sorry. I don't get it. Well, I mean, at the same time, I do get it because they do have the in-car supervisors. So I guess like it's harder to find people to get the midnight to 6 a.m. shift, I guess. Now Waymo covers 700 square miles around the U.S. between all their markets. So that was the big thing. I think most Tesla fans would admit that Waymo is ahead of Tesla in self-driving. I know some of them will still question that, but I think it's very hard position to argue. Their idea is like, okay, but you will see that Tesla will expand so much faster than them. Well, first of all, the actual service area expansion doesn't really matter that much until they remove the safety drivers. If they don't remove the safety driver, then it's that's the biggest growth limitation for Tesla right now, the robotaxi. So the service area is the second one after that. But then even the service area, like Waymo launched in Austin just 4 months ago too, so it's like quite a new market for them too, and they are now expanding a lot faster than Tesla. Also, they have a lot more cars than Tesla. They have over 100 vehicles in Austin alone. They have way more demand than Tesla, and that's even with much higher prices than Tesla. Because Tesla, by the way, the price went up because they're very unserious business. Started by charging $4.20 a ride, and then it went up to $6.99 a ride with this update because it covers a bigger area, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be a party pooper. Like you have your jokes and everything, but it's kind of weird that how old is Elon at this point? It's like 56 or something, and his sense of humor is like 420, 69, and drawing dicks on maps. Like it's
It's a
kind of
little
sad.
weird.
To be honest.
It's a little weird.
Sorry, it's a little weird, yeah. And then the other big robotaxi expansion news came from Uber, Nuro, and Lucid, of all people. So Lucid stock went flying yesterday on this news. I didn't look actually how it's doing today. I wonder if it would come back down a little bit for that crazy high, because it went as high as like 50% up yesterday, and then it calmed down to more closer to like 30% up. But I would assume it's down a little bit today. Oh, it's down 2.5%, so it's not too crazy. So it went way up on this news because it is big news. We're talking about Uber investing in Lucid, $300 million, but also talking about deploying 20,000 Lucid vehicles. I think primarily the Gravity here that you see, equipped with Nuro technology. So Nuro is self-driving startup, but it's not just self-driving. They do self-driving, I guess, but they do deliveries mostly. So they don't have like a passenger system yet, but they do. I mean, they are working on the technology, but it's not deployed right now. The Nuro is big in deliveries, like automated deliveries, but they want to compete in level 4 autonomous rides, and they are going to deploy them in the Lucid Gravity and deploy over 6 years, 20,000 units through the Uber system, much like Waymo is doing right now through Uber too. So obviously, this is huge news. It needs to happen because Nuro, like I said, is deployed commercially for the smaller robots that do delivery. But for rides, they only have been testing in a closed course. So that's not that impressive, let's be honest, in this day and age. But still, they want to deploy this rather quickly, and they have the Gravity is a very interesting vehicle for rideshare. To be honest, like I never really thought of it because it's so new, but I wouldn't mind getting in the backseat of a Lucid Gravity. Have you been in one yet, Seth?
Yeah, actually, I was just at a Subaru event, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and they had the event at a hotel, the Gazenbort, that's right above a Lucid dealer. So I got the opportunity to check out the Gravity. It's very roomy in the back. It's actually very like a big car, even though it's not like super tall.
Yeah, it's kind of a squished down minivan a little bit.
Yeah. But it's big. It feels very roomy.
Yeah, I would much prefer getting picked up in that than in a Model Y. Let's be honest, even though I don't mind the backseat of a Model Y, it is an upgrade. Let's be honest. Have they talked about? I don't remember seeing where they plan to deploy this first. So said 20,000 planned Lucid Robotaxi will roll out in a dozen of global markets over the next 6 years, beginning in a major U.S. city in 2026. So I would assume like Phoenix or maybe even Austin. Austin is becoming kind of a hub for this. Oh, Google knows me with these UFC 318 ads for tomorrow. Getting excited for it. Am I not backing? Is that backing?
What's that?
I cannot back off of. Wait, let me click this instead. Don't know why. My back button wasn't working. All right. Next, we have the CLA Shooting Brake EV that was unveiled. We'll learn about it at the same time here because that was out when this came out on Tuesday. Was really the reveal, I think, the official reveal. So shooting brake, I would assume that this thing is only coming to Europe, unfortunately. But what do we have here? So it's an extended wheelbase compared to the other CLA with 61 millimeters. Okay, not that big of a difference. 14 millimeters more headroom in the back. That's nice. 11 millimeters more leg room. I mean, that's literally a centimeter here. So that's nothing crazy, but still looks good. Like the CLA shape does transfer interestingly to the looks a little bit of a hearse kind of
Yeah.
design, but with the slope back.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that Ionic 6 like curvature to it too.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I mean, that's a credit for Hyundai and Kia that like their vehicles, or even though it's like lower end, they're still they you compare them visually to the Mercedes and the likes. What's the other spec on this thing? So we have an 85 kilowatt hour battery that is supposedly going to get you 473 miles, 761 kilometers of WLTP range. That's really good. The WLTP doesn't account for air conditioning though inside a vehicle, so take that into account. So the CLA 250 plus shooting brake has a 200 kilowatt output in the back, I would assume. It's a rear-wheel drive, did I say? Okay, no, you have single and dual motor. You can also have a combined 359 horsepower, 260 kilowatt if you go with the dual motor version. But that's going to reduce your range to 450 miles, 730 kilometers. You have the usual infotainment system from Mercedes, 800 volt architecture, electric powertrain architecture for 193 miles, 210 kilometers of WLTP range within 10 minutes if you do have an 800 volt charger. All right, the price, not bad, 40,000 euros, about 46,500 US dollars equivalent. But yes, don't expect that thing to come to the US early 2026 in Europe. That's going to be available. And then Subaru kind of surprised some with the Uncharted EV. That's the name of the new model, right?
Yep. I tried to make the title interesting and made it more confusing. It's a great little vehicle. Obviously this was just the unveiling, so there was no driving. But it's a Subaru, and just like before, it's really just a Toyota CHV with some Subaru additions, and most of that is the suspension, which raises it up a little bit, gives it some more clearance, more of a Subaru, kind of aesthetic. Obviously, it's very rugged, goes off road. I think it's a very good looking vehicle, and I think we're starting to get to the point where Subaru people who had Subarus for many years and enjoy the Subaru brand are kind of moving over. The Solterra, which is basically a rebadged BZ X4, wasn't super compelling. Like the range was, I think, 220 at launch, and it's grown since then. But This is up to 300 miles of range, so it's really kind of a compelling vehicle. It's small. It's not quite Chevy Bolt small, but it's pretty. It's like a Volvo EX30 small. But it's still pretty roomy in the inside. It's got plenty of cargo space. It does have a long hood, and it has just an awful frunk. Like, it doesn't have a frunk. It just has like a bunch of electronics in the front, like you would have imagined a car from 20 years or something. But there's a lot to love about this car. I think it's solid. It's got a NACS port, so Tesla supercharger friendly. It's charges at 150 kilowatts, which I think is probably the lowest I would accept at this day and age.
2025, yeah, it's
I
in the
mean,
low end for sure.
5 years ago, I feel like that was okay, and there's certainly still a lot of 150 kilowatt chargers. And to be honest, like, the charging curve is probably more important. Like, if it's still charging at 150 kilowatts at 60, 70% state of charge, then that's good. But realistically, this is going to be 150 and start dropping down. But real world, they say in 30 minutes, you can go from 10% to 80%, which is reasonable. That's a relatively small battery pack, 75 kilowatt hours. So you're not getting Mustang Mach-E type batteries or Chevy Blazer type battery. So it's more like a Model Y size battery. I'm trying to think what else. Just aesthetically, it looks really nice.
The two-tone is really, really cool, especially the back looks very aggressive. I like it.
Yep. It looks a little bit like a Lotus Allure, whatever. Mm-hmm. So, impressive overall.
Tail lights too are nice.
Yeah, I think pricing will be important here. I would imagine probably under 40,000. They have a front-wheel drive version, which I thought was super weird for a Subaru, and that's going to be their lowest price one. I imagine that one's going to be probably around 35,000. But their GT and they have two other ones probably going to be mid-40s, and those are all-wheel drive, obviously, Subaru, and they're going to get around 300 miles of range, like 290, I think their guess is. And yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be great for Subaru owners. It's finally time for Subaru owners to start moving over to the Solterra. It wasn't great at its launch. I think it's getting better, but I think this is kind of the new territory.
Yeah, it looks a little bit more unique too. It looks a little bit more refined. I do enjoy the design. The specs are decent, nothing crazy. You have Apple CarPlay on this.
Yep, big screen.
Maybe you go for that instead of the GM products because of it. I don't know.
Yep.
Not mad at it.
Not mad at it. That's a great way to put it.
We'll see. All right, we have one more news item to discuss, and then we're going to jump into the comments section and talk to you guys. So if you're watching live right now on YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you are, you can put them in the comment section. Any comment, any question about any of the topics we're discussing right now, or any other topics in the EV world, in the automotive world that you want to take on. I'm going to get to it in just a few minutes after we talk a little bit about this. So I read Jamie's article on this. Like, Jamie kind of took the lead on this Faraday Future unveiling that not a lot of us were kind of hopeful about. It's Faraday Future right now I think has like less than $10 million in the bank. They sold 16 of their F91 super hyper car system that they have. It's not looking good. Like, it's not great. And then this sounds like they're Hail Mary launching this van that we don't have a price on just yet, unless something changed since I read this article. But I don't think so. But basically what this is, it's an all-electric minivan that is built on a Great Wall Chinese vehicle. And if I understand, the goal here is to make enough of the vehicle in the US so that you don't have any tariffs on it. like the Chinese tariff, because this is based on a Great Wall vehicle. Yeah, let me see. I don't think there's specs too. I don't think he shared any range spec or anything like that. They talked about $10,000 reservation, but was there reservation without pricing? So $100 pre-reservation, refundable. Yeah, Faraday Future says that they have over 10,000 reservation, but there's no price on this as far as I can tell. Yeah, there's no price yet. They have this
We're in the
little.
FF91, and it has a pretty cool new feature. With 3 fingers, you can change the volume or the temperature. So instead of having a little tiny control here, which of course it still has, or having a physical knob, which constrains the design space of the vehicle, gives another failure point, all that stuff. What it does is it still gives you the benefit of having an easy physical control that you don't have to hunt for, but it incorporates that into the screen. So you can change temperature with 3 fingers left and right, or
Not bad, but I do like a knob for the
Yeah, and
volume.
also like this is not going to move the needle. I mean, it's like nice. That's cool and worth mentioning. But
Yeah. I think what's moving the needle more is, like, first of all, there's not that many electric minivans in North America, so like the market is not too crowded, and they have like some designs are like this is really gimmicky too. They have the F.A.C.E thing, they call it, like it's a AI powered LED screen in the front, but that doesn't talk to me too much. But Jamie posted some of the interior configuration. You can see it looks like very luxurious and everything. And this is something you would expect in like in $100,000 van in North America, but in China, like they have a ton of these for way cheaper. So I guess the goal here is to try to have an attractive like value proposition price. Like, use this as if it's a fire. They are outside camping. Do a real fire. Like,
yeah, that's
if people don't see this, I'm gonna zoom on it. This is the that's so ridiculous.
it is ridiculous. I mean,
Oh, Jamie's in the
what they should
comments like
show,
now.
they should show a movie on that thing. That would be cool.
Yeah, exactly. Have a real fire and make this a movie.
Right.
Jamie says you can use the AI face to flip people off when they cut you off in traffic. Yeah,
Oh, well,
I've
there you
seen
go.
people. I've seen people like put that like on the LED screen on the side of the car and do that. But I think there was like, oh yeah, there's you can also have just a 2-seater, like kind of limousine type situation. Um, we've seen some Chinese electric minivan that have that too. Another interior configuration here, and it looks like a 2x2x2. Yeah, I don't quite the Hail Mary here from Faraday. Hope wishing them the best, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if it doesn't work out.
Again.
Yeah. All right, let's look at the comment section a little bit before we go.
All right, Carl, I think I might have answered some of this, but did the Subaru Uncharted crossover successfully surprise everyone, or had that new EV been announced long ago? It looks compelling, but I don't know if it's also Toyota-based or all Subaru. It was leaked, or not leaked. I think they purposely had noted that they were going to do something called Uncharted. I don't know how much people knew about it. It was kind of, it wasn't like broadcast out too much. It is compelling, I would say. I would absolutely consider it. It is Toyota based, and I don't know if that's a bad thing. I mean, it's a bad thing from hey, you should be your own, company and your own stuff. But Toyota is known for having quality vehicles, and Subaru's building the suspension and the, some of the other stuff for the car. So it's not 100% Toyota. But I think. I think that works. Those 500-mile figures sound like BS. All Tesla range claims. What size pack is the Model 3 Plus using? Well, it's on the Chinese, what is it,
CLTC.
Yeah, CLTC cycle,
Yeah.
which is strangely optimistic. Like,
it's lower speed. It's built very much around like city driving, so it's the cycle takes into advantage like lower speeds, which I mean, I guess if it's true, like in most Chinese city, you can probably get close to that range by just driving around slowly in traffic. But obviously, a lot of people in North America will use more the highway at higher speed, and that will deplete your battery a lot faster. So I think it's not BS at the CLTC level, but yeah, if they launch the same Model 3 in North America and gets an EPA rating on it, it's going to be much closer to 400 miles range.
Yeah. All right. This is the first time I've ever heard of the Terney lithium-ion battery cell. Any quick explanations you can offer on what it is and what makes it different?
That's a good question. I remember looking it up a while back. I didn't look it up for this specific article, but it is an energy dense solution that's kind of in between like the NMC and the LFP. So it's like a step in between them. I don't know if we have actual like energy density figures on the specific one from LG here. But let me just quickly look. Yeah, you still have nickel in there. You still have cobalt, but lower percentage of it, and uh, it's gaining some momentum against NCM and NCA. I think it's mainly cheaper. That's the thing.
All right. Is this new YL and 3 Plus changing 180 for Tesla? Did Elon come to awake and in the next few years Tesla will sell even more models like minivan, small city car like Renault 4, etc.?
I doubt it. I don't think that's the way to look at this. I think you're better off operating thinking that Elon is still completely all in on autonomous driving, and that's the main focus at Tesla. And the only new cars that Tesla has fully unveiled is like the Robovan and the Cybercab. Like they're clearly built around autonomous driving. I think if it's 180 for me, it's more about we were expecting stripped down version of the Model Y and Model 3, cheaper version, not higher performance, more expensive version. So that's kind of 180 on that front. But I will still expect the stripped down version. I think Tesla's going to need them, especially in the US with the removal of the tax credit, and in China where the market is way more competitive at the cost level.
All right. Seems like a fine map to me. They need to open a few little parking lots to the northeast. We're talking about the Waymo and Tesla maps for the
I don't know what the parking lots have to do with that, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it needs to be elongated. Waymo should have shaped their map like a big booty. That would have been horrible. All right, I finally installed Comma AI on my Model 3 HW3 in EU. That's interesting. Best part, no nagging compared to a basic AP. Comma handles better some turns and roundabouts. Not always. Driving feels okay. Man,
I didn't even know Comma was in Europe.
I mean, they're just kind of everywhere. Like they don't even have like map. They're not like geographically. They just kind of just go on roads.
Mm-hmm.
I do need to get a Comma car. I'm so curious about that whole system. All right. Patricio posted some Comma videos on his channel. We'll have to check it out, but I wouldn't recommend it due to the lack of information, installation, and ease of use as a final product. Autopilot is better for the regular customer. For really long trips, no nagging has been great, though. Yeah, the nag.
Yeah, it's more for the tinkerer, I guess. You need to be willing to tinker a little bit with your car.
All right. Great show with serious and unbiased comments. Thank you, frequent traveler. I think Elon Musk killed the cheap model project because there is no margin left to squeeze price. Making cars smaller saves only a bit of materials. I mean, I have to say that's probably a good point. Like in China, they just cannot get any cheaper. Like they're not going to be able to compete with the BYDs and the Wulings, on a cheap small car.
They're already pretty much not profitable in China on what they sell with the rear-wheel drive when they have the incentive, like the discounted financing rates and all that. So I guess they could go little bit lower price, but still probably zero gross margin. So that's why I prefer to see Tesla launching these, like leave the down market to Chinese automakers because they are dominating on that, and then try to push ahead with technology, have like more better value proposition at the higher end. I think that could be Tesla's advantage there. But honestly, it feels like Tesla has kind of like given up also on the technology lead on basically all front other than efficiency, and even then some of them are getting close, like Lucid and all that.
All right, Dan Overstay says shooting brakes have 2 doors. Station wagon builders have appropriated the name so that they don't sound uncool.
Oh, really? I wouldn't be surprised if that's true.
Yeah. All right, that Merc CLA looks a little frumpy. Agree, like Ioniq 6, which is my least favorite EV. Carl in San Diego is very opinionated on that. I know a lot of people like the Ioniq 6, and I know a lot of people are going to like the CLA. So maybe it's
it is a polarizing one, the Ioniq 6. Yeah, the Ioniq 6. Like I also I enjoy it. I enjoy the look. But I point them out every time I see them on the road. I'm like, oh, Ioniq 6 is pretty good. And the reaction I get from people is like 50-50. It's like, really? So you think that's a good looking car? And some people like it.
All right. Rob Bazemore, it's not coming to the US because station wagons are ugly. Could not agree less.
Yeah, because they're not, even if you think they are not great looking, like they are as functional as an SUV other than off-roading, and they are way more efficient. So
yep,
it should exist. Like it should exist.
Robotax, that's an interesting word. Not sure the context, but yep. Carl, super helpful if Subaru can actually have 2 EVs in their showrooms and on their lots. Will totally normalize the EVs to their buyers. Well, they have 3 EVs now. They also have that bigger one that they came out with not too long ago. So, hello, Jamie Dow from Electrek. They just raised 105 million. Faraday did. Not sure where from. Prior to that, they had under 10 million in the bank. I wonder who put that money in and what.
But the thing is, like 105 million for bringing a vehicle program to production is nothing. Like it's a problem.
So there's no price yet, and they even ask people to tell them how much they'd pay for it. How much you got? So they're crowdsourcing the MSRP. All right.
Oh, that's a bit sad.
You know, they got the wrench out and they're like, how much you got, boy? All right. No specs, only wheelbase and some interior dimensions, and all-wheel drive dual motor. You can use the AI face to flip people off when they cut you off in traffic. That's probably the number one feature there. The finger motion controls are okay, but it might not be too practical when driving. For me, I rely on Tesla's voice control, which works well, even if you need to ask twice sometimes to clarify. Yeah, I mean, voice control sometimes works. It's just not reliable enough for me. I do like having some physical buttons, but we're getting there. Faraday Future's voice controls are quite good too. That's another update they recently put in. That's good to hear. All right, Rob says the CLA sedan looks pretty cool and great range.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna admit that this CLA sedan looks better than the shooting brake or station wagon one. Like that's fair, but like, I still think there's room for station wagons.
Yeah, and finally, I prefer station wagons more than SUVs, but we have few choices here, which is true.
Wow, yeah, few. You can say that again. Yeah, I mean, and it's fun. Like they exist in Europe. All electric ones, great ones from Audis, great ones from now Mercedes too. So like, bring them to the US. Give it a shot. Try it out. All right. That's it for us this week. Thanks a lot for everyone that's been listening to the show. If you do enjoy the show, please give us a like, a thumbs up, whatever it is on your app that you're watching, because we're live everywhere. It helps the show more than you think, and it takes a second to do, and it's free to do. Also, if you're listening on your podcast app right now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, please give us a 5-star rating, only if you think we deserve it, of course. And that helps the show a ton to get pushed to other people too. So we appreciate when you do. And we're going to see you same time, same place next week. Have a safe weekend. Bye-bye.